The next article is the interfacing with on-chip peripheral real-time clock, that means the RTC in ARM LPC2148. In that, the real-time clock, that means RTC, is a timer counter that counts the real time continuously. Whereas we can get the present time details using that RTC. It gives us time as well as the date information. The RTC clock is separated by the 32.768 kHz oscillator and to continuously keep track the current time. RTC is proved either by the main system power or that separately by that the battery backup and the absence of the main system power. Since the RTC needs the running continuously, it should be provided with the battery backup in case of the main system power failure. Otherwise it can lose the present time information. We can easily program the RTC with the current date and the time information in that the case of the lost time and the date, the information due to the power failure. But this is not the feasible solution in that the real time system. Once they are deployed into the market where there are many time constructions and on the task of the timely decision making is important. In such case of the RTC must not fail. This makes battery backup of the utmost importance. In that, the LPC2148 has the inbuilt RTC, whereas the LPC2148 RTC can be the clocked by the separate 32.768 kHz oscillator or that the by programmable Prescalar divider based on the APB clock. That means it maintains the calendar clock and it provides the seconds, minutes, hours, monthly, year, day of the week, day of the month and the day of the year. It has the power supply pin that can be connected to the battery or the main 3.3 volt. It uses the little power in that the power down mode, and the most important, it is the alarm functionally. This figure shows the LPC 2148 RTC pins. In that, the RTC X1 and RTC X1, that means the RTC crystal pins, whereas these pins are used for that the connected to the external crystal. Generally 32.768 kHz crystal oscillator is connected to these pins. The VB80 pins, that means the RTC power pin. In that, the power to the RTC unit is given through that this pin. Either it will be the main system power from battery backup mechanism, and let's see the RTC register to use of the set and controlled RTC operation. In that, the RTC register, the first register is the interrupt location registers, that means the ILR. It is the 8-bit registers. It specifies which the blocks generating an interrupt, and that is the bit 0 is the RTCC IF, that means when this bit is 1, it means the counter increment interrupt block generated and that the interrupt, and writing 1 to these bits the clear and the counter increment interrupt, and writing 0 has the no effect. The bit number 1 is the RTCA LF. When this bit is 1, it means that is the alarm register generated, and that the interrupt, when writing a 1 to this bit clears the alarm interrupt, and the writing 0 has no effect. The CTCR, that is the clock tick counter register. It is the 16-bit register. It is the read-only registers. It can be reset through the clock control registers. It consists the bits of the clock divide counter. The bit number 1 to 14 is the clock tick counter. This is the period to the seconds counter, and the CTC counts is the 32768 clocks. Increment may be the not all that the same duration. Then next one is the CCR. It is the 8-bit register. It controls the operation of the clock divided by circuits. That means the CCR is the 0. If the bit number 0 is the 0, the timer counters are disabled and they should be initialized in this condition. And if bit number 0 is 1, there is the timer counter are enabled. The bit number 1 is the CTRST, that means the CTC is reset. When this bit number 1 is 1, the elements is the CTC are reset and the elements remains reset until this bit is changed to the 0. Bit number 2 to 3, it is the test enable. It is the this bit should always 0 during that the normal operation. Bit number 4 is the 0. CTC takes clock from that the Prescalar, and this is bit 1. There the CTC takes clock from that the 32.768 kHz oscillators. It is possible to that the use for that the 32.768 kHz external oscillator as well as the Prescalar to run that the RTC. Then fourth register is the CI. Then fourth register is the CIR, that means the counter increment interrupt register. It is the 8-bit register. It provides the option to generate the interrupt every time a counter is incremented, and this is interrupt remains the valid until to the cleared by writing a 1 to RTC IF bit is the ILR, that means the bit 0 IMSC. When this bit when 1, that is the increment of the seconds value, generate an interrupt. Bit number 1 is the 1, the increment of the minutes value, generate an interrupt. Bit number 2 is the 1, the hours value, generate and that the interrupt. Bit number 3 is the 1, the increment of the day, month values, for that the generate interrupt. Bit number 4 is the 1, the increment of the day, week value, generate an interrupt. Bit number 5, when 1, an increment of the day of the year, value, generate and the interrupt. Then next is the alarm mask register. It is the 8-bit register. It allows the user to the mask off an alarm register. This is the writing a 1 to the any bit of this register mask is corresponding register. For alarm function, every non-masked alarm register must be matched the corresponding timer or counter for that the interrupt to be generated. The interrupt is generated only when the counter comparison first change from that the no match to match, and the interrupt is removed by the writing 1 to the RTC fail bit in the ILR. If the all the bits are this register are set, then the alarm is disabled. The next register are that the consolidated time register. The 3 consolidated time register together provide and the alternative to reading that the values of the 8-time counter and register. These are the read-only register. These are the 32-bit registers. The next one register is the timer counter group. It consists the 8 counters. This can be the read and write. They are given below. That means the first is the second. It is the size of the second is 6 and the second value of the range is the 0 to 59. Then next is the minute. Size value of the minute is the 6. Minute value of the range is the 0 to 59. The hour, the size of the hour is 5. Hour value of the range is the 0 to 23. That month value range is the 1 to 28, 29, 30 or that the 31 depending on the month whenever leap year. Then next register is the alarm register group. It consists the 8 counters. The value of this register are compared with their timer counter. If the all unmasked alarm register match their corresponding timer or counters, then and the interrupt generated. This register are given that the next register is the print a prescalar integer register. When the P clock acts as the clock source for that RTC, then this Prescalar allows the generation of the 32.768 kHz reference clock from any P clock greater than the 60.5 kHz. That means this allows the RTC to run at the proper rate of the irrespective of that the pre clock, where PREINT is the integer proportion to prescalar value. That means the must be greater than or equal to that the 1. In that the bit of 0 to 12 prescalar integer contains the integer value of the RTC prescalar. The next is the prescalar function fraction register. This is the fraction part of the prescalar value. That means the bit number 0 to 14 is the prescalar function that is contains the value of the RTC prescalar. This is the example for that the write a program for that the RTC time and generate the alarm at that the desired time. The URT0 is used to the display time and the alarm event on that the PC terminal, and the LED is also used to the indicator of that the alarm. The LED is blinking for that the 6 seconds when the alarm is turned off. We will see the program. That means the RTC run using the 32.768 kHz crystal as well as the prescalar.